Good evening. Welcome again to today's webinar. Once again, my name is Sterling McKinley, and I would thank you for tuning into the webinar. The webinar is called The New Normal. And tonight, we're talking about how your business can use digital marketing, okay? And I think this is really important because I think a lot of people use digital marketing and they get frustrated. They say it's not working. And I think that's because they don't understand who their customers are. So tonight, we're going to talk about that. Before you get started, building a website, running ads and campaigns, the first key step is to really understand your customer, because the only way your digital marketing is going to work is if you have a firm understanding of your customers. That sounds good? All right, let's get started. Give me 1 second here. My screen share is acting up. Let me get things together and we'll get started. It's gonna be 1 second. Almost ready. Give me 1 second. Let me restart my browser and let's try this again. This is the wonders of technology and digital marketing. Sometimes things don't work, but I think we're gonna figure this out here. Let's try this one more time. All right, I think we're ready to go. Let's try this real quick. Still loading. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Great. So once again, tonight's webinar is called The New Normal. Once again, it's presented by the U.S. Black Chambers and also by Grow with Google. So to get started, I want to get some more interaction. And once again, this webinar is really all about you. So let's have a roll call. Let's check in. Do me a favor, get your fingers ready. And in the comment box, I want you to type your home state. So if you're from Texas, type in TX. So let me know where you are listening from. Anybody want to check in? Let me know where you're listening from. New York, I see you. PA in the house. Okay, New York. Thank you. Oh, Arizona. Okay, great. California, great. Kentucky, awesome. Well, I'm coming to you from Maryland, and the weather's nice today. We're on the tail end of cicadas, so I'm happy about that. But let's get started with tonight's webinar. So you see the quote here on the screen, and it's a quote by me, but it really explains what I said to begin the webinar, that digital marketing is like dating. It's not about you. So I think what happens in business a lot of times, we have our product, we have our service, and we're so in love with that product and service, we make it have all the things that we want. But a lot of times when we do that, we lose sight of our customer. So I say it's like dating because, think about going on a date. Going on a date, it's not all about you. If you've been on a date and the person is just talking, it's all about them, you kind of tune them out. The best dates, I believe the best relationships are, back and forth. There's a conversation. So it has to be the way of your customers. It cannot be all about you. And everything you do in your business and your marketing has to be targeted toward your customers. It has to be the things they like, the things they want to hear, the things when they want to see, because that is how your digital marketing is really going to work and be effective. So quick story here. I met my wife on a dating app. So anybody on here that's looking for love, online dating does work. It takes a while, but yeah, I met my wife on a dating app. And it was kind of a dare from my brother. He said, hey, try online dating and see what happens. So I did it. I set up a profile on a dating app. And at first, my profile was very general, very basic. And guess what? I didn't get much responses. Nobody sent me any messages. Nobody responded to any messages. So I took the time to really craft a profile that would attract the people or person that I was trying to attract. So I'll show you the profile of my wife. Well, not my now wife. At the time she was just a person online, but this is my wife's profile. And I was scrolling and I saw her profile and I said, wow, you know what? This girl's kind of cute. Let me give her a shot. So, I went to her profile and this is what it said. It said, you should send me a message if you think it's okay to eat dinner after midnight. And P.S. I love seafood. Okay, so I thought that was kind of funny. I thought she was kind of cute. And I said, hey, okay, this is somebody that I want to possibly date. So the next thing I did, I think is very, very key, a little sneaky, but I went back and I rewrote my profile. I wrote my profile to match the things that she was talking about. So I was aligned, but hey, she said certain things. I made sure that those things were in my profile. And that's the kind of same thing you can do with your customer. You want to get inside their head. You want to find out what they like, what they don't like. And you want to make sure that your marketing and your business reflects that. So this is my profile. I rewrote it. It says, I cook a mean grilled salmon. I would describe myself as Kevin Hart, means Gordon Ramsay. P.S. I'm taller than Kevin Hart, and I curse less than Gordon Ramsay. Okay, so that was my profile. So what did I do? She mentioned that she liked eating. I said, great. Well, I like cooking. She seemed to like jokes. So I said, hey, I'm also funny as well. So once again, I was trying to match what she was saying that she liked in her profile. And just like your company, just like when you're reaching your customers, you want to make sure that everything you do, your website, social media, everything is speaking toward your customers. And it worked. So about a year later, we got married. And, one of the reasons too, I sent her a request on this app because we were a 93% match. 93% match. And that's very high. So I felt good about it. And, that's how it has to be with your customers. You have to be so online, so in tune with your customers that it's a high match. It's a high likelihood that they call you for service. All right. Anybody that's following along and you like my story, do this. Type in hashtag Black Love. Hashtag Black Love if you like my story, meeting my wife. Hashtag Black Love. Okay, no time, no comments yet. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Black Love, thank you. Can I call you out? Let's show you a quote to everybody. Black Love. There we go. Thanks. All right, let's go on to the next slide here. And this is us walking down the aisle at our wedding. And then a few years later, I have my son, Sterling. So once again, all this happened. Why? Because I made up my mind who I was trying to target. And everything that I was putting out was targeted to that person. And once again, I believe that's one of the keys to digital marketing is that you're making sure that your company, all your marketing, your advertising is talking to people. Because once again, that is the thing that's going to attract those people. So quick question. You saw the picture of my wife. In the comments, I want you to type, who does my son look like? Mom or dad? Who does my son look like? I'll show him again. Who does it look like? His mother or his father? While you're typing, I'll tell you, my son just turned 10 months last week. Mom. And everybody says mom. So it's starting to get to me, but I've heard that sometimes kids can change over time. So I'm hopefully, he gets some of my looks later on. But thanks for your comments. All right, so now I really want to break down. See, someone says mom, duh. Exactly. So at this point, everybody says I'm just taking it now. It looks like his mother. But I want to get down now to the customer journey. And that customer journey again is kind of like dating. So tonight we're going to break down, how that customer finds you and how ultimately they make a sale for your company. So the first step is going to be awareness. Now, awareness is when somebody is looking for your company. When they go online doing a general Google search, they're looking for hairstylists or whatever you do. That's the first step. Then the next step is consideration. And this step, I think, is very important. This is when they've been to 3, maybe 4 different websites and companies, and they're comparing, finding out which company looks the best and looks like they can offer, the best product, the best service, and so on. So that's very key in that stage, because that's the stage that you want to really educate your customer. You want to really tell them who you are. So they say, hey, this company looks like somebody that I'm going to work with, and they reach out to you for business. And the next one would be purchase. And that's what we all want. We want that customer to make that purchase. But once again, it's a chain of events that lead to a customer making a purchase. And we'll talk about this later, but you want that process to be easy. One thing that I always see is don't make it hard for somebody to do business with you. So have a nice, clean website, make it easy, accept credit cards, accept online payments, make it easy for somebody to make a purchase with you. Because once again, if it's hard or difficult, they might leave and go to another company. And the next one is being an advocate. So you want to repeat customer. We're not just trying to get one-time customer. You want to have a customer life cycle. So when you sell a customer one time, you want to be able to sell them again and again on your product and your service. All right, the first we're talking about today is awareness. And I just kind of told you about that, but awareness is kind of that general stage where they're just hearing about your product or service. Maybe they've done the Google search. Maybe they heard your name on TV, word of mouth. So they're aware of you now. So this is really key. This is why it's so important to have digital marketing. And like I was saying in Tuesday's webinar, it's all about that visibility. So when a person hears your name, whether that's through an email, through a friend, through a referral, whatever, do a search, that they can see you. Now they're aware of your company. They're thinking about, what product or service they're going to go with. So simply put, make this screen bigger for you. I don't like it. Simply put, awareness is how memorable or recognizable a brand is to its customers. That's really it, what it is. You want to be aware. You want to be visible to your customer. And I always say, if people cannot find you, then they can't do business with your company. Because if you're not visible, they won't be able to find you, and they won't be able to do business with your company. I'm going to pause real quick. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Does anybody have any questions about, how you can use digital marketing to work for your business? And, tonight we're talking a lot about the process of finding a customer. But before I go any farther, does anybody want to jump in the chats or the comments and let me know what questions you have about how you make a customer more aware of your product or service? So any questions, feel free to just drop those in the comment section. Okay. No questions. So I always say, and I said this in the beginning, your business cannot rely on word of mouth. Why? Because word of mouth is not reliable. I mean, there's sometimes you get a lot of people talking about your business, but sometimes you won't. So once again, that's where digital marketing comes in, and that's where that awareness comes in. Because once again, you can't really control word of mouth marketing. Word of marketing still works, but you need to back that up with digital marketing. And I say also, when we're in this time now when people hear about your company or your product or yourself, the first thing they do is they get online. They do a Google search. They go to your LinkedIn profile. They go to your website. So even if your business is really heavy on word of mouth and referrals, your digital presence, your website, your social media profiles, that's kind of the credit in the sense. People look at that and say, okay, this person, even though they were referred by a friend or by a colleague, they look like somebody that I want to work with. let me call them for service. So a lot of times that digital presence is very key. If they're finding you offline or online, they go to digital presence to determine if there's somebody that you or they want to work with. We have a question here. Let's pause, pull it up real quick. It says, it's from Sarah. It says, for a construction company who customers are the government, how should I use digital marketing? Great question. Digital marketing is a great way to reach anybody. I don't know if you're doing contracting or bidding, but I think one of the key things you can do is, we'll talk about that in our next section more, is education. So if you're looking for trying to attract procurement officers, it's all about information. So I'll say it again, when it comes to working with the government, they're looking for the best company. So once again, when that person that has your bid or whatever is looking for, what vendor to choose, what they want to see is that your company, is doing what you're saying you're doing. So I think having a website is very key. I think blogging is very key. You want to definitely write about your business and what you do. Once again, having case studies, I think, is very key as well. But what you really want to do is just try to educate the customer as much as you can, because information is really key. That's the thing that's going to win people over. So when it comes to something that's competitive, like for the government, it's all about how you look. So the better you look in that customer mind, the better chance they're going to choose you, hopefully, and call you for service. So once again, just information, really show the people that you have a firm understanding of their target market and that you have the capability to deliver that service. Brian, move on. Any other questions? Okay. So I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. Digital marketing only works when you know who your customers are. That's very key. I said before, people get excited. They hear about digital marketing and, they hear about social media. And the first thing we want to do is we want to get online and set up a profile, set up a website. But, companies, both big and small, do well online when they have a firm understanding of who the customers are. When they really sit down and say, who am I targeting, and what thing that they want to see that are going to make them call me for service. And I think really too, including that, is really getting understanding of their pain point. And it's kind of an old school marketing thing, but people are Googling stuff because they have a problem and they're looking to solve that problem. So going back to the last questions from Sarah about the government, everybody has a problem. They're looking for a plumber. They're looking for someone to wash their car. They're looking for an accountant. Everybody's coming online with a problem, with a question. What you want to do is you want to be the answer to that question or to that problem, because that's where the magic really happens. You want to help that customer answer their problem or their question. I have a question here from Samuel. It says, as a food business, what's a good way to market without always selling? Yeah, it's a great question. So, people are always hungry, so you don't have to sell too much. But, I think food can do really well online because food is very visual. So what I would do is make sure your brand is very visual. So I would invest in the high quality images of your different dishes or your different food, because people want to see that. I would also like to have video of your food as well. Also, what I would do is really show people how the food is made, kind of behind the scenes. I think that's a good way to market your business. But you hit in a key thing about getting customers without always selling. And, selling does come off a little sleazy, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be sold. We don't. Every day, we have car salesmen, we have commercials, we have ads everywhere that are trying to constantly sell us. So the key thing, I think, is, once again, is knowing your target market. So what kind of food do you sell? Samuel, can you type in the chat box real quick, what kind of food do you sell? What kind of cuisine do you offer? Okay, well, I'm going to guess. Let's say that you sell Mexican food. You know, certain people like Mexican food. So you're making all your marketing speak to that person. So once again, it's about being there. And I think one thing for Jamaican patties and cocoa bread. Okay, great. So once again, get inside that customer's head, what they want to see. Because when I'm hiring for lunch, you don't have to tell me that I want Jamaican food. I'm going to seek out Jamaican food. So I think one of the keys is we'll talk about this in another webinar is using Google My Business. So Google My Business is a free profile you can set up. And if you ever do a search on Google, let's say for Jamaican food, you see that map listing that comes up and it has little dots on the screen on the map of restaurants. That is very key because when people are ready to buy your product or your service, they're doing that. They're typing that in. Then Google is going to show you what companies, what restaurants are near you. So food is one of the immediate things. So let's say I'm at work and I type in Caribbean cuisine near me. If your restaurant is that general radius, it's going to show me on the map. Then I can click on that map icon. I can go to your website. I can view some of your cuisines, your menu, and then come to your store. So I think being on Google, My Business is very big. It's restaurants. There's so many sites. There's Order Up. There's Yelp. Everything. So when I think it comes to restaurants, just being visible, and there's so many food sites out there. Just be on those sites because when somebody's on Yelp, when somebody's on Google My Business or any of those sites, when they're on Order Up or whatever, they're seeking out your cuisine. So you want to be there. So make sure you're using all the tools possible to make sure that your cuisine and restaurant is in those right spots. And I'll say this and I'll move on. Not in the right spots, but the spots where your customers are already at. That's why a site like Order Up does so well. Why? Because it's about food. So the people that come to Order Up, they click on that app, they open it up. Why? Because they're hungry. So you're in that food space industry. You want to make sure that you have a profile on these ordering and restaurant apps because that's where people go to order their food. And I'll see one more thing before I move on. I think that goes for any any company is you want to find out what websites, review websites, social media network work for your industry, and then be on those networks. I'll always say if you're selling something, be where people go. So once again, if you're selling food, yes, you should be on sites. Let's say you do household repairs. Great. Well, there's plenty of directories out there from Angie's List to Thumbtack that contractors are on. So be on those sites, those apps that work with your industry. I think that's very key. I have a question here. Let's see. How do you choose an expert to guide your online presence? Example, SEO, website, branding, etc. That's a good question. I think the best way is, I don't know where you're located, but doing a Google search, for digital marketing services near me. That's a great way to get started. But I think before you go to somebody, you want to have a firm understanding of what you want. You want to have a firm understanding of your budget. And like we're talking about tonight, you want to have a firm understanding of your customer because it's very easy to find a so-called expert or company and they sell you a product or service and it doesn't work. So I think before you engage a expert or company, have a firm understanding of what you want, have clear examples of other companies and what they're doing and say, I want something like that. And then also digital marketing is all about the targeting. So once again, you can have the best website, the best video. If your website is not targeting the right people, it's not going to work. So once again, just do your homework, figure out what you want, have a plan, have a strategy. And when you go to that digital marketing expert or company, you want to make sure that they have a plan to target your customers. So you should have a plan, but also say, hey, I want to hear your plans. How can you target my customer online? All right, great. Let's move on and get back to the slides here. Good questions so far. So once again, this webinar is all about you. I have a slide deck here, but if you have any questions about digital marketing, feel free to type them in the comment box, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. So we have an activity coming up here. And one thing that I've been talking about a lot tonight is really understanding your customer. And once again, when you understand your customer, that is when digital marketing really works. So we have a customer persona here. And a customer persona, all that is a kind of a summary of who your customer is. And it's so important that you have this in your business because once you have a kind of a summary of who your customer is, then you can look at this and refer to this and say, hey, my digital marketing, is it speaking to that person? So let's go back to the screen here. We have Metro Michaela. So Metro Michaela is mid-30s. She's single. She's female. She lives in a large city. She's college educated. She works in fashion. Interests are cooking, wine, and travel, and she shops locally. So imagine if this was your customer. Now you know some details about that customer. Now you know how to target your digital marketing towards this person. Why? Because you know more about their interests. You know more about their habits. So I think it's very important to sit down and just think about your customer. Think about the interests. Think about the things that they like. And once you have an understanding of that, build that into your marketing. Build that into your email, your sales, all that stuff. Because once again, customers are attracted to companies that reflect them. So it should be like a customer is looking at your website, social media, and they're looking at a mirror. They're saying, wow, this company does exactly what I want. They understand my pain points. They understand where I'm at. They can help me. So once again, you want to make sure that everything you do online is just customer focused, because when I'm online typing, doing a search, and I see a company that's saying exactly what I need, exactly what I want, then I'm going to reach out and I'm going to choose them for my service. We've got a few questions here. One from Sonia. Let's see what it says. It says, how do you do that for a company that is business to business? Yeah, that's a great question. My company is business to business as well. And, at the end of the day, B2B companies they're still customers. They're still people. There's still a person behind that company. So I think one way you can do that still is to create a persona of who is that buyer. So a few years ago, I did a lot of work with the government, a lot of contracts. And, at first when I got my MBE status as a minority business enterprise, I didn't do so well. I went about a year or so without getting any contracts. And then I took a step back and I said, you know what? My website, my marketing, it doesn't reflect who I'm targeting. So my entire website marketing, I rewrote that from the perspective of a procurement officer. And I thought about what things they want to see, what things that are going to make them choose me. So being clear about my service, my user experience, talking about how I'm easy to work with, all those things, having my past performance. So once again, I think one of the main things you want to do is make sure that you're writing for your customer, not yourself. So put yourself in the shoes of that customer. So even if it's a business per se, speak to how you can help that business. Put the things in your website, just like I did with my dating profile. Put the things in your website that speaks to that person, speak to the things they want. That's a great question, by the way. We have a few more questions here. We have one that says, I'm in travel and I have two very different types of customers. How do I market to both? Great question. That happens. We always don't have one customer. We may have different types of customers. So for that, I would say you want to find out what similarities those customers have in mind. It's very important online that if you can prioritize one customer, because it's very hard if you don't have the manpower to write and market to multiple groups or segments. So if you have two, I would just be very, very clear about that, who you're serving and what you're offering and how you can work with both of those people. So let's say you're in travel and you have clients that are baby boomers and you have clients that are straight out of college. Yeah, they're two different stages in life, two different income levels, but they still have something in common, and that commonality is travel. So I would say, even though you have different groups, try to find what's common in there and do it that way. A lot of questions here. I'm gonna skip around some because we only have an hour. Question from T. It says, "How do you target a particular customer, such as professional Black women business owner, with something like you're excluding anyone? How do you target particular customers?" Yeah, I think that's a good question, and that's something that um, for a long time I struggled with. So for years, mentors, people told me, Sterling, you need to have a niche. And I said, if I have a niche, I'm going to miss out on all this customer and all this business. And what I discovered over years of struggling was not having a niche was really, really hurting me. So I wouldn't really be too concerned about excluding customers, because what you want to do is you want to have that niche. You don't want to speak to everybody, because when I go online, I'm trying to find a specialist. I want the person that deals exactly with what I need, that's speaking towards me. So I think there's so much power in your marketing and online if you have a niche. So I wouldn't worry too much about excluding people, because once again, you don't want to be broad. You don't want to target everybody. You want to have that niche. And one thing we'll talk about later is when you have a niche, I believe you do better. It's kind of counterproductive, but having a niche is better, because you can really go deep within a niche instead of going wide. So good question, but I would encourage you to really get a firm understanding of your customer base, and having a target is not a bad thing. Great question. We have some more questions here. Let's go do it and see. Let's put these up on the screen. So we have a lot of questions in the chat. Somebody here would say, that's true. Once I niche down, I get more customers. Yeah, it's true. And once again, it's tough because we're taught in business just to get, take. But focusing on that one market, that one target is the way to go. I'll give you one example quickly and I'll move on. Think about some of the best companies. Think about Nike. Nike sells shoes. Yeah, they sell clothes and stuff too, but they're known for shoes. Starbucks. Think Starbucks, what do you think? Coffee. You don't think muffins. You don't think donuts. That's Dunkin' Donuts. So having a niche is really key. That's how you stand out. So having a niche, being a professional in something is, a good thing. And, I believe you shouldn't shy away from that, because that's very, very key. So let's get back to the slides real quick, because we're coming up on a half hour here. So going back to our customer persona, we have an activity now. So we're going to take a few minutes, and I want you to create your own brand statement. And I'll give you an example of what is a brand statement. So what I want you to do is first identify your audience. So in one word, 2 words, identify who's your audience. Next, what challenge are they facing? What need do they have? And then I want you to tell me what makes your product or different. So once again, identify your audience, who you're targeting. Next, tell what challenge or problem you're solving, and then tell me how your company is different from the rest. That's very key. So take a few minutes to do that. Take about 2 minutes. I'm going to put up a whole screen and come back. So take a few minutes to think about who you're targeting, number one. Next, what challenge or need they have, and then to round it up, what makes you different. Think about it for a few minutes, and when you're done, just share that in the chat box, and we'll talk more about it. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. All right, and we're back. Does anybody want to share their brand statement? We have a few here. Let's pull one out from Gladys. Gladys says, our website is we're Black-owned digital marketing company based in Texas. We do video, graphic design, and trademark filings and more. Okay, that's good. That's good as well. So I see you're studying what you do, your target market, and the problem you solve is video, graphic design. All they will add is what makes you different. Because once again, there's plenty of marketing companies out there. What makes you different? Try to find something that makes you different from all the other companies. I have one here. Provide promotional products. Everyone may use them. Can I target a particular group unless it's someone will need a product promotion? Okay. Yeah, I understand that. So I'm guessing there's no industry that uses your products more. But yeah, promotional products are kind of general, but that's great. Anybody else? Let's see, share their statement. Can we have one here? It says for busy moms who don't have a lot of time to cook. That's great. Good healthy food for her young family. Um, can provide complete flavor for the meal. Okay, I like that. I like that. You did a really good job of stating once your name, your target market, and the problem that people are solving. So I think that's a great example of a brand statement. Um, Got one more here. It says our customers, mostly female, 30 to 40, who love European food. We are unique in that we sell a lot of vegan products, and our food is fresh, local, and sustainable. Yeah, that's major. That's one thing that's big. And of course, food, being fresh, being vegan, and being local. So that's something you definitely want to make sure that you say in your marketing. The vegan is very key. Being fresh and local and sustainable is really key. So make sure you find ways in your marketing to bring it out, because there's a lot of companies that may not be Caribbean per se, but really can't say that. So that's definitely a good selling point. Um, Put a few more. I have one here, and let's see. It says our company is focusing on sending individuals and small groups to areas where they can't get new perspectives. Okay. I have a longer one here. I'll read this one and then I'll move on. It says I help beauty professionals build iconic brands. I like that. Iconic brands. I like that. Stand out. From start to finish, your brand can make or break you. So let's get it right and tight. I like that, right and tight. Many beauty professionals do not understand how impactful it is to be beauty professional and present themselves. Yes, I agree. I agree. You got it. It's all about that. It's about being visually impactful and being professional, because that is what's going to win people over online. So, you said a big thing for me, having that brand that stands out, that's different, because even tonight, I'm wearing this suit. I'm wearing this window pane suit. And quick story, I used to speak a lot before Corona shut everything down, but all around the world. And most speakers got on stage and they wore boring suits, blue and black and gray. And one day you say, you know what? I'm tired of being like everybody else. I'm going to wear a different suit. So I wear pinstripe suits. I wear polka dot suits. I won't move with everyone. Why? Because I want to be different. So I think it's so important in your business is to find ways to be visible, and also find ways just to stand out. Once again, because the problem now is with digital marketing now too, we have every company at our fingertips. So the only way that you're going to stand out is to be different. So knowing your customer is great, but you also want to find some way to stand out, because once again, if I'm looking at a collection of companies or people and everybody's monotone the same, what's the point? But if somebody stands up and somebody's different and unique, they know what makes them different. I'm gonna say, hey, that company look different. Let me use them, use their product, use their service. So that's great. I see a comment here. Somebody said, who is on LinkedIn here? Yeah, hopefully everybody is on LinkedIn. feel free to drop your name in the comment, and if anybody sees somebody name they want to follow, go ahead and follow them on LinkedIn. So I'm all for cross promotion. Great. So let's move on. I think I already did very good on that exercise, but once again, it's really key to really know who your customer is and state your value simply. You know, I'm amazed of how many websites that I go to, and it's confusing. You know, I'm bringing the website and I can't figure out what in the world they do. So being able to state your mission, your target, and your value, and what makes you different, you know, succinct and clearly, is huge, because people don't have time to read through all that clutter. They want to know exactly what you do very quickly. Great. So going back to the next step is consideration. And this stage is very good. This stage, the company has done that awareness. And let's say they're looking for a Caribbean cuisine. At this point, they might have 5 restaurants that they're choosing from. And now they're saying, okay, which one, you know, is vegan? Which one has the best pricing? Which one is closest, has the best pictures? So in this stage in consideration, they're comparing their options. So this is really that stage where you want to win that person over. And one way you can win a customer over is by informing them through pictures and videos and text, social media, letting them see what you do, letting them know what makes you different. So this stage is very critical, and really it's that stage where you win the customer over. So I said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the stage where you educate the customer. This is the stage where you build that relationship and that trust. So once again, if I'm hungry and I go to your website and I see pictures that are enticing, I say, hey, you know what? I'm hungry, but I'm also trying to eat better, trying to be vegan. And I see that you offer that in your listing. That stands out to me, and that pulls me in. And then you have a video that you follow up. You talk about the importance of eating vegan and the benefits. You're educating me on the importance of being vegan and maybe staying away from fried food and other foods. Now you're educating me. Now I'm more into, wow, you have food that looks good, tastes good, and also health benefits. So once again, it's so important when you get somebody to your website, social media profile, that you're educating them, because they're in this stage now where they're getting ready to choose a company, and they're going to choose a company that is educating them. You're going to that company that shows you the most information, that has, you know, videos and texts that are informative. Why? Because now you say, wow, this company, this restaurant, it stands out from all those other companies. I'm going to choose this restaurant. See a comment said, can we post links in the chat? I'm not sure. I haven't tried that yet. But good question though. So let me give you a few ways that you can educate your customer. So the first one is email sign up. So I believe on every website, there should be a place for someone to enter their email address. Why? Because, you know, that's a way that you can follow up with your customer over time, and you can educate them more on your product. So once again, having email sign up is a way to capture somebody's email. And also, depending on what you're selling, maybe right then and there, they're not ready to buy. But now that you have on your email list, you can continue to reach out to them. And then when they're ready to buy, hopefully they see their email in their email box and they call you for service. The next thing is a content download. So once again, if you're doing work, some said with the government, if somebody downloads a PDF on your website or downloads your I'm going blank here, your mission statement, you know they're ready to buy. So once again, when somebody is getting more information, the next thing, if you sell some kind of product or service, if somebody orders a demo or a trial, okay, now they want to know more about you. So once again, they're showing you that they're signing up, they're asking for more information, they're getting to know more about you. So that's so key. And the one that we all want is a phone call or consultation. So that's a way to get customers. So once again, somebody's calling you, asking you questions, that means they're in that phase where they're considering whether or not they want to go with your company. So you want to be very open to any questions. You want to think about what they're going to ask. If you can, offer a consultation. A time where you can sit down and learn more about their need. But once again, your customer, tells you when they're ready to go to the next step. And one thing I learned in business is you should anticipate your customers' needs, because I don't know for how many years you've been doing what you've been doing, but have you go to the website and you've seen a page that's FAQs? It says questions and answers. So there are common questions that I always get in my business. So I've taken the time now to make a PDF and make a page on my website that says common questions and answers. So one thing you can do is think about your business. Think about what are the common questions that customers ask, and make sure that you have those questions answered on your website or just in your head. So when somebody asks you that question, you can respond, because it makes customers more comfortable when they know the next step. And as a business owner, you should be able to lay out the next step to your potential customers. And moving on to second to last stage, which is purchase. We got about 15 minutes left, but real quick, if you find this webinar insightful or helpful, give me a 5 if it's great, and type a 0 if it needs work. So 5 if you're enjoying this webinar, 0 if you're not really enjoying it. Type that in the comment box, and we'll get started again. Five. I see you. Thank you. Thank you for that. 5. Thank you again. I appreciate the 5s. Great. All right. So we're going to the next stage, which is purchase. And this stage, man, this is when you get excited. When you know that customer is about to buy. When they've done that consideration, that comparison, they ask the questions and they're ready to buy. You're thinking about making that sale. So this is all the stage you want to get to. But this stage is very, very critical, because just because it's ready to buy, you want to make sure that the whole process of buying is just simple and just seamless, because people don't want to struggle to do business with you. So I said it before, accepting payments, via credit card or just being easy to do business with is so key. So at this stage, you can still lose a customer. And once again, I talked about being seamless. And, that's one thing that I think that's really been heightened through this COVID-19 pandemic, is now everything's getting easier. So now you can get your phone and you can order Uber, you can order food. It's easy, isn't it? It's so easy not to make a purchase. So one thing I recommend to you, if you have a restaurant, if you just have a service like you're working for the government, put yourself in your customer's shoes, or even ask somebody, go through my website, send me an email, call my business, and, tell me how it makes you feel. If they say, hey, your website is confusing. Hey, when I call you, the phone rang and rang, I got a voicemail. It's not so good. Do you accept digital payments? Think about the customer standpoint. If you make it easy for somebody to do business with you, they're going to come back to you again and again. Why? Because it's easy and it's seamless. So always get inside your customers' heads, and you want to think about, how can I make the buying process as easy as possible? And also, too, going back to having that question and answers page, lead the client down the path to make a sale. So once again, going back to the Caribbean restaurant, if somebody goes into your restaurant and say, oh, I don't know what I want, pull the menu out, show them, have things on there circled, not good vegan options. Make it easy for them to make a purchase. One thing too that I recommend is, I hear this a lot, is having less is more. So if you have 20 products, it's tough for a customer to make a decision. But if you have 3 or 4 or 5 products, less is more. So make sure that you're packaging your company and your sales and your marketing in a way that's easy for the customer to figure out, hey, this is the service that I want to go with. That's the product that I want. Because once again, there's nothing worse than being ready to use the business or service and it just being difficult. Our lives are difficult enough. I don't want to have to struggle to deal with a customer, with a company. Have a question here is, should we list prices? It really depends on what you're doing. Um, Sometimes you can run into people that are just price shopping. If you don't want to lift your prices, give a range, or say starting at, like with my service, you know, um, I give a range. So I say starting at, $1,000, $1,200. So if you don't want to tell them exactly how much it costs, give them a range of what it costs. Sorry, I laughed, but someone said I give a 4.5 for that squeaky chair. That hurts. That hurts. I know. I say, I need to get a new chair. So I promise you, next Tuesday webinar, I will have a new chair that won't be as squeaky. But sorry about that. One more question here. It says that we need to do a better job of upselling. The Korean restaurants don't usually suggest items to increase their per customer sale. Yes, yes, yes. Upselling is key. And even if it's something as simple as a restaurant, we need to find ways to upsell our customers. And that's where that consultation comes in. So they come to you as an expert. So tell them, hey, if you buy this meal, this smoothie, these go together, these last longer, these products work together. That is very important, finding ways to upsell your client because once again, making a sale is tough. So you want to make sure that you're selling them the right thing. And I think also that customers appreciate that. They say, hey, these men sold me more. I bought more, but I got a better value because I bought more things at once. So yeah, you want to create packages. You want to create strategies to upsell your clients. That is very key. And that's a great point. Okay, we're running short on time here. Let's get back to the next slide. The next stage is being an advocate. And being an advocate is just having a repeat sale. And going back to what we said about upselling. Upselling can be, hey, you get 20% off your next purchase. Encouraging that next sale is so key. So you want to find ways to have repeat customers because we've all heard before in business that it costs more money. It takes more time to target new customers. So when you get a customer, let's keep them. One thing that drives me crazy in business is we spend so much time, energy, and money chasing clients, and then we get them and we treat them terribly. So when you get a customer, that customer is valuable. Keep that customer, in your business, constantly, follow up with them. Because once I'm already sold, the battle's already won. You can sell to me again and again. So, you want to have that repeat customer, repeat sale. You don't want to be constantly having to get new customer after new customer. That's draining for you. And that's going to make you feel like you're always chasing, you're always selling. But if you focus on creating the repeat customers, that's how you win. So I got a stat here up on the screen. It says that repeat customers account for 25% to 40% of sales. 25 to 40%. That can make or break your business. So if you could use more customers in your business, type in repeat. Type in repeat in the chat if you want to get more repeat customers for your business. I'm still laughing about the comment about my chair squeaking. I'm hurt, but I'm going to fix it. Can anybody out there use more repeat customers? So while for your response, I will say this is very, very, very key. Having a repeat customer, because that's how you're going to stay in business. You stay in business, your income becomes more predictable when you have repeat customers because you can count on them coming back to you again and again. So if you think about it, how many customers do you really need? Depending on what you sell, you could need 25, 50, 100 repeat customers that come back to you every month, every week, a couple of months. I go to my barber and, I say, how many customers do you really need? And he says, you know what? I need about 60 to about 50 repeat customers. And that would do it for me. So really focus on having a repeat customer, because that way you can build that sustainable, that recurring income. And then also repeat customers, take some of that money from repeat customers and then invest that back into your business to get more customers. So what you want to do is you want to make your marketing pay for itself. So you get a repeat customer, great. You have that money coming in continuously. You want to take some of that money and invest that back into your business now to get more customers. That's very key. So I'll tell you one quick story and we'll end. So anybody out there like Starbucks? I love Starbucks. But Starbucks has a program called Starbucks Rewards, and it accounts for 40% of their sales. 40% of their sales, nearly half of Starbucks sales comes from repeat customers. I'm a Starbucks fan. Before every talk, I drink an iced coffee to give me a little boost. But it's all about having repeat customers again and again. Once again, Starbucks is what it is. Why? Because they built the whole business around the customer, what the customer likes, what they want. They created an app or a program to do that. So one thing I want to say too, in your business, it doesn't have to be something as technically savvy as the app. It can be a loyalty program. It can be old school, going back to when you used to get ice cream or frozen yogurt, getting a punch card. And with each purchase, you get a punch. That's kind of cheesy and corny, but you're making your business repeatable. You're giving somebody a reason to come back. So you want to think about some kind of program, loyalty program, some kind of program that you can get people in and have them come back again and again to your business. So once again, Starbucks makes 40%. That's a lot of coffee off the same customers. Nearly half of their business comes from repeat customers. So once again, you want to create some kind of upselling, some kind of program where you can keep those customers coming back and back to you again, because that's how you grow and you build a sustainable business. So I'll give you a few tips on that. Before I say that, we have about a minute left. And we have a few slides left. So I may go beyond our time, about 5 minutes or so. If you need to, sign off. But if you want to, just stay on the call, the webinar, and I'll be done in a minute. So some ways to do that, like I just said, you want to stay in touch with that customer. So calling your customer, sending them a postcard, a mailer, you want to keep that relationship. Why? Because when you stay on top of their mind, they can come back to you for service. Next thing, you want to have personalized incentives or VIP treatment. Once again, some kind of program, sending a handwritten thank you note, something that makes them feel special, that makes them want to come back again. The next biggest thing I would say is also encouraging your customers to share the good experience. So nothing works better in a business than finding a way to have your customers share their experience with you. It's so key. So when somebody tells you, hey, I went to this Jamaican spot and the food was banging, guess what? They're going to go now. Hey, I went to this company and they did a good job cleaning my house. Hey, I went to this company and they designed me a killer website. They're going to come back to you. So you want to make those customers your advocates. You want to make those customers speak for you. So you want to find ways to encourage your customers to share their positive stories with other customers. The next thing is you want to constantly be looking for ways to improve your business. Even through this webinar, I asked you several times, rate how am I doing from 5 to 0. You constantly be making sure that you're doing a good idea and a good service, because sometimes you can't tell. And having that feedback, you can adjust your client. You can adjust the way that you do your business. And the last thing is just find new ways, unexpected ways to delight your client. Send them a gift card, giving them half off today. Hey, we're giving away free smoothies or free whatever, something that just, not the normal thing to get them out. Because why? When we feel that a company understands us, when a company is giving something free, that they care about us, we're more likely to come back. Because once again, People are doing business with people they like, with companies they like. So the more that you can build that trust, the more that you can build that relationship, that bond, the more they're going to come back to you again and again for service. So in closing, real quick, repeat the stages of the customer journey. First is the awareness. They hear about you. They see you on Google. Consideration, they come to your website. They are making decisions. That's the stage where you educate them. The next stage, hopefully, they move on to make a purchase from your company. And then the really key one, you want to focus on finding ways to create a repeat customer base, because that's the key to business and digital marketing. You don't always want to be fishing for new clients. You want to find ways to keep those current clients. So awareness, consideration, purchase, and then having a repeat customer. So before we wrap up, if you have any questions or comments, you can send those to programs@usblackchambers.org, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Also, if you have any other questions or in the trainings, you can visit usblackchambers.org/webinars, and you can find a list of different webinars ranging from digital marketing to finance and so on. Also, if you came in late on this recording and you missed any of it, whatever platform you're on, whether that's LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, when I hit stop, there will be a recording of this webinar. So you watch this again. I might talk a little fast sometimes because we don't have a lot of time, but I hope you got what I was saying. And it's just really important to make sure that digital marketing, again, only works when you understand your customer. So once again, everything you do online should be what your customer wants. Make sure that everything is speaking to them. And when you do that, it happens for you. It works for you. People get frustrated online because they get started, they spend money, and their targeting is off. So make sure that your targeting is reaching your customers, and that's key. So once again, thank you for your time. I'll stick around for about 3 to 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, just drop those in the comment section, and I'll answer those. But for those that are signing off now, I'll see you again on Tuesday, once again at 5 p.m. We'll be talking about more ways that you use digital marketing to grow your business. Thanks again. Any questions? Oh, thank you. Once again, this is my pleasure speaking with you all again. Another comment here. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Understanding your customer is key. Before you get started, understand who your customer. Yeah, thank you again. I hope to see you next Tuesday here at 5 when we have our next webinar. Any more questions before I sign off? If so, just feel free to type your question in the comment section, and I'll answer that. Okay, no more questions. So once again, thank you for your time. Have a great weekend. Have a great Juneteenth, and I will see you on next Tuesday. Take care.